So it is. Just a second, put my phone in case. Okay. It is 12:30 at night, and I am driving home from my mom's. I'm exhausted, and I hope you all are having a beautiful Memorial. Hey, Freeside. Hey, Mr. Positive. How are you, love? Long time no see. I hope you're doing well. I'm exhausted, man. I was like, I crammed a lot of activities in the last couple of days. Mowing, weed eating. How are y'all doing, Mr. Positive? Where have you been? Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, I know you moved to, I'm going to say Colorado. Anyway, I remember you moved, and because it was going to be easier on you. Are you still in the same place? I'm so sorry. Do you have family close to you, Mr. Positive? I know you're close with your church family and community. And you don't have to tell me, it ain't none of my business, but you know, you don't know unless you ask questions. Well, I will lift you up in prayer, continue to lift you up in prayer. I hope you are on the mend and, you know, things are looking up for you. Okay, Pastor and his wife. Okay, well, sometimes that's all you need. You know what I mean? My dear friend that I grew up with, her mother was a hairdresser and did really everybody's hair, but anywho, when she got out of school, she married and moved to South Carolina and started a family as a girl and a son. Anyway, he tragically took his life. He's 30. He just turned 30 last Tuesday. And her mom, which is like a second mom to me, and my mom's best, you know, one of my mom's good friends, of course, elderly, very elderly, lives, you know, still in the home place. Anyway, her and her other daughter took off and went up there. And I was talking to him yesterday. Oh, dear. I am so glad I have deer whistles on my car. I hope, some people say they don't work, but knock on some wood, I'm hoping they deter them. But anywho, I was talking to them on the way home, and of course, you know, they're all upset, and I absolutely had no words. But anyway, they were saying that the sister, you know, the one that the family this happened to, the immediate family, they are, you know, they're not in any kind of church, they're not in any kind of community like that, so they don't go to church, they don't practice. I don't know what their beliefs is. I know she was raised, you know, Methodist, Baptist, Christian, whatever. Don't know, you know, what they're like now, but her sister and I were discussing about how really and truthfully lonely and tragic that is. You know, I'm telling you what, if I couldn't lean on my sisters in Christ and brothers in Christ, and vice versa, you know, it just makes it a lot easier in life and in the world. And it doesn't have, you don't have to be Christian. I mean, I don't know, whatever you know, whoever you pray to or whoever you get guidance from, whatever. Hopefully you have a community to be part of. But, you know, we look out for each other and take care of each other, and that's the way it's supposed to be. I remember, you know, years my dad, we would talk about revelations and rapture, and we spoke about the Bible quite a lot, and my dad never could read, so what he knew was a lot, you know, he learned from, you know, preachers, people talking to him and stuff like that. So he was a very religious man. And anyway, he used to tell me that, you know, when it gets closer to the time or whatever, that, you know, families were going to have to be like living with families. And you know, it's so true. I mean, I feel like, and I'm not looking at chat, you guys, I feel like, man, it's fulfilling every day, faster and faster. And I don't know about y'all, but I want a first class ticket, baby, on that rapture ride. You know, just as far heart failure. She's on hospice. She's got congestive heart failure, COPD, and blind. Anyway, yesterday I noticed that she's skinny mini, so I noticed that her ankles were swollen, and the nurse had just been there that morning when I was there, but I didn't go out. I was cooking. I didn't get to go out and say hello, and nobody said, he didn't notice my mom. And I said, Mama, I said, you need to feet elevated above your heart. I said, both ankles are swollen. And she said, if it's my time to go, then I'm going to go. I'm not worried about it. And I said, okay, Flossie. I said, what did me telling you to put your feet above your heart have anything to do with the good Lord taking you home? And my sister spoke up and said, I think that was her way of telling you she ain't going to prop her feet up. So, Winky Whispers, hey, love. Winky Whispers, I tried calling you. I don't know how to call international, apparently. I used to call into Mexico quite often, and I know it had the codes, the country code, and anywho, but that was eons ago. But anyway, I don't know if I've got the whole number, I don't know. I've got the number, you sent me, but anyway, is it difficult to call into Canada? Or do you just have to be, a sharp crayon in the box? I'll go back, Mr. Positive, and read what you spoke to me and tell me, okay, and I'll absolutely keep you close to my, heart in my prayers and be lifting you up, that the surgeons take good care of you, their hands are steady and precise, and that you come out of this like the rock star you are, taking names, kicking butt, and taking names later. You have been missed, sir. You have been missed. But anyway, this certainly did not mean to log on and go into a religious rant, but did not mean to do that. Absolutely. Now, Mr. P, I think I've still got do you still have the same number? I'll text you. I've got it. Okay, I'm in between. Okay, my husband, let me just vent a little bit. We do pay a lot for internet. We pay a lot for cell phones. But it is what it is. I don't know what to do. Anyway, he says, go to T-Mobile. Go to T-Mobile. I just hate dealing with cell phone companies getting on the phone. I freaking hate it. Hate it. So anyway, my phone is broke, but I can still use parts of it. So I had bought my little niece Emma Bema so I'm using her phone. So I'm in between an iPhone and an Android, trying to decide if I want to do an iPhone. But I can tell you guys right now, this little gal is staying Android. I cannot deal with this Apple. Just can't. I guess it's whatever you got started with, and I did not get started on an Apple or an orange. But I can just do so much more, with my Android. And so anywho, and then it's kind of a really pain in the rear end being in between both. And I'll go to do something and I can't do it because I'm on the other phone anyway. So he's like, I'm telling you, switch to T-Mobile. But he just doesn't. I mean, it's the internet. It's just an ordeal. You know what I mean? I get on phones with people like that. But anyway, if you still have the same number, I know you got my email. Shoot me a text or email or whatever, and I can still receive text to my number you have. You guys, I was watching a little clip. I don't know whose clip it was or whatever. It was Dolly Vision talking to somebody on the phone. Some lady called in. I want Molly to go straighten Chris out. Let me just slap you, Dolly Vision, for saying she's back, because I know she's been, going live or whatever. I've been getting little clips and stuff because I sure don't watch her butt, but I know I should, send to YouTube that she's basically been innovating, right? All again. So anyway, seems like from what I've seen the clips, she's been being very good, being a good little girl. But for somebody not to miss it, she sure as hell trying to come, going live. But I tell you, I just don't know what to think about it. But I mean, I know what to think about it, you know. I just think it's ridiculous. Okay, Winky says, I've been doing so much. Sir, yes. Oh, wow. Oh, I know it's like, and it's, I don't know about where you're at, Winky, but it's so freaking hot here. I mean, it's dreadfully hot. I got this morning, I had some weeding to finish at my mom's in that our little cabin thing. And man, I got out there as soon as it was daylight. So my eyes are like bloodshot. I have sweat in them for 2 days, you know. So my nephew he bought himself a new Kubota, big old nice zero turn, and we have a John Deere zero turn, which is, you know, simpler to use. But anyway, I watched myself a couple of videos last night on how to drive one of those Kubotas. And I went out there and I looked at it and poked around and looked at some levers, and I said, I'm gonna give this old big baby a whirl. Let me tell you, he told me that I love it and it's so smooth. It most definitely has a wider cutting, you know, area, and the deck is so solid, man. You know, felt good, looked good, but when it was in motion, let me just tell you, I'm so glad that I had a breast reduction many years ago, because I would have had some dang black eyes. That sucker was like boom boom. I thought, holy cacciatore, I don't know what you paid for this, baby, but my sister said maybe it needs the blade sharpened. And I said, well, it needs something, but it was nice to like knock out the grass cutting a little quicker, you know. And I love to mow the lawn. I love to cut. I love to weed eat. I'm kind of weird like that. But when it's hot like this, I say let it grow, baby. Let it grow. I was going to wait till tomorrow morning to come home, but I got done with everything. I gave Mom a pedicure. My little niece painted them, and I was like, okay, so you're going to lay down for 3 or 4 hours and then get up and go home. We're going to pressure wash our house, and our gutters, we have got to get in the gutters. And this is no lie, on the back of our house, our gutters, we have a huge oak tree and so many darn trees and stuff. Our gutters fill up with debris a couple times a year, and I'm not kidding. I, you know, had a tapeworm, and I had a whole little story about it, and I've told it on here, and Mr. P remembers. And anyway, my ex would get so mad at me when I would tell the story, and he's like, oh my God, it's so embarrassing. I said, look, homie, it was my tapeworm. It was my story. I don't know why it's embarrassing you and why it's bothering you if it doesn't bother me. It was very enlightening, and I thought, you know, interesting. So whenever my current husband said, I tell people we have little oak trees growing in our gutter, I said, Cletus, people don't care about that kind of stuff. But anyway, we got to clean that out, so I'm coming home to work. He didn't have the Memorial Day off, so I wish I could have stayed up there. My brother and all the family, they're doing smoking briskets, and they do some bologna. I don't remember how they do it, burnt ends. So I saw on TikTok this smoked ham recipe, you guys. I sent it to my nephew, and I said, next time y'all fire a smoker, you'll try one of these. Then I went back and watched it. It was a bone-in ham, not spiral cut, just a full end. And you put it in a smoker for, I think, 250 for 10 hours. Then you take it out and you mix up this jam and butter and brown sugar and all that. Coat the ham, wrap it back up, raise the temperature 25 degrees to 275, and cook it for another 6 hours. Dude, that's 16 hours, but let me tell you, it looked just so good. But that, I don't know anything about grilling or smoking, but that's a long time to be manning a dang hot grill in the summer. But it looked like the payoff would be well worth it. But they're going to wait for me to be there if they do that. What are y'all doing for the holiday? Y'all have plans? Zena with fire. Hello, love. Yeah, sorry, I'm going to be buffering in and out probably a few times. I should be doing pretty good in a bit because I'm going to be on like a major road in a bigger town. So I have to tell you guys a little story real quick. So I was telling you about my dear friend's son taking his own life. And so yesterday when I was getting the 411 on it, her sister, we were very frank, and my little niece, my little heart, was of course busybody, listening to everything. And I don't let the kids, when there's adult conversation going around, I don't believe in letting your children listen to it. They're going to be faced with adult things soon enough. I just don't think. My mom and dad never spoke about stuff like that in front of them. We never asked. We weren't allowed. So, and kids know so much and too much these days. So anyway, I could have told her to go in the house and not listen, but I know her, and she would have got out of eyesight and listened anyway. So the whole time in the back of my mind, and she's on the spectrum. She has sensory issues, but y'all seen her on here. She's my heart, and I almost 13, and so the whole time we're having this conversation, I got her on speakerphone so my mother could hear. I am so aware of my baby girl listening, and I wanted to make sure that what was said, you just never know, would hopefully drive home what I wanted instead of what I didn't want. So she tells what weapon, called it a Glock, and then tells how. So it was a pretty graphic phone call. And I didn't know it was going there, or I probably wouldn't have had it. But anywho, she get off the phone, and one of the first things she does is ask me what a Glock is. And I thought to myself, yep, just like Yall way she was listening. So I told her. And then the next thing she asked me is she was repeating what my friend's sister had said about the matter. And I said, okay, I'm going to answer this question, and then we're not talking about this anymore. Okay? You heard, I didn't even want you to listen, but I knew if I told you, you probably would anyway. And so I'm going to answer this, and then we're not going to talk about it. And that probably wasn't the right thing. But anyway, that's just, all I could do at the moment. And so about an hour later, I said, okay, I got to go to the bathroom. And she follows me, of course, she says, can I ask you, which this is common. She does this a million times a day. Can I ask you something? I said, yes, Emma. So she asked me, and I'm in the bathroom already, sitting on the toilet with the door open, and she's standing there. And it was, non-related, just something. And then I answered, and I said, okay, let me go pee. She said, can I ask you something else? And I said, yes, Emma. And she asked me, and it was, nothing to do with nothing. So I answered, and so I said, okay. And I shut the door, and I said, I'm going to the bathroom. And you guys, a few seconds later, she's still outside the door, and she said, can I ask you one more thing? Or can I tell you one more thing? I said, you can. I wasn't ready. She said, I just want you to know that I will never do what Shandy did. And I lost it. I opened the door, and I'm like, babe, it's like, she's 12 going on 13, and, real life, she's had it happen in her school, it is life, unfortunately. And I lost it, and I said, thank you for telling me that, and I'm very sorry that this is something that we even need to discuss, or you even have to hear. I said, but I want you to know that I would probably not far behind you, whether I, not like that, but I would just grieve myself, and so would your whole family. And she knows me and her are like this. And she said, she didn't say anything. She turns around and walks off, and I hear her getting in the kitchen, and I said, did you hear me? And she said, yes, and kind of giggled, and she went outside. What a heart that child has on her. Such a big heart. And it just so sad, that kids can't be kids, and they hear all this. We are in a scary state of our living, but my friend's son, all that, I just can't, it's on my mind so much. And I'd only met him a couple times because, like I said, she moved away when and I did as well, but we've reconnected at times that we've been home visiting our family, and we've always been friends on Facebook, and text and whatever occasionally. But So I knew I had knew a lot of them or whatever. So it's just like really bothered me. But when she did that, it made me think, why, and this was like a good hour or so after the phone call. And it just like broke my heart, I guess, because she was still thinking about it too and wanted to like talk to me about it. And her mom, I mean, they don't not talk about things. I mean, it's a very open dialogue. Nothing's off limits. Look, that's the way they want to raise their kids. But when we were growing up, we didn't ask how much something cost. We didn't know what it cost. When my parents were discussing things, we didn't even think about being in that room. And if we did, we were told real quick, like, where to go, get out of there. And it was just like, you know what I mean? Things weren't for our ears. And I so get it. But that's not all these kids, or the ones that I are aware, I mean, I can tell them, but it's none of my business, but how they raise their children. But I just like, and when not everybody, but the majority of people are doing it the way they're doing it, which is what I'm seeing, it's kind of like, wow, who am I to, they probably think I'm an old granny that, with all these wives' tales. I don't know. It's just like, I feel like my childhood was so much better and calmer, boring, I mean, we were outside till dark and playing softball, whatever. It's just like now it's just so different, and it's scary as hell, scary as hell. I wouldn't want to bring a small child into the world that we live in now. It's just scary. Hey, crazy nurse. Hope you're doing well, love. Hope you have good plans for Memorial Day weekend. I don't know what y'all are saying. Yeah, I'm coming home from my mom's. My husband's he said, I sure could use your help around here. I said, well, when have I ever not helped? All you have to do is say the word, and I am there with bells on. My mama didn't name me. I am Ready Betty. She didn't name me Betty for nothing. But no, my brother has really bad asthma. When we were growing up, he had it so bad that we put him in the hospital. And this is so crazy. I don't even know if you guys are going to know about this, or they don't do anything like this now for asthma. But they would put him in a bed and pack ice around him, and he would be for several days in the hospital, and for asthma. And we had central air and heat in the house when my mom and dad built it, but we couldn't use it because it would like make him go into an asthma attack. So we had a fireplace, and we ended up putting a heater in. But anywho, as he's gotten older, he's outgrew a lot of it, but he still, the dust and the stuff just sets him off. And I love to mow the lawn and stuff, so. But it's a big place. My mom's place, my brother's place, our place. Now my two nephews live on the property. So, and I like hooking them up and taking their trash. I like spoiling them when I'm when I'm around. So, I guess Mark was thinking, you're up there. I need help down here. So, anyway, I'm going home. And I was going to wait till the morning. And then I thought, girl, just go home now. Get you a vanilla Coke, pour it, and go on now. Glasses, I gotta go back to the eye doctor. They got my glasses. I can't see. I can see, but driving, they're too much. But I can't like read or see anything else without them. So most definitely gotta get that taken care of, because it worries me to death. Putting on my head and off the head. Following you guys. I am like, I love me some Down the Rabbit Hole. If y'all don't watch her, she has really got good content. But this Diddy stuff, you guys, is sickening. And the lengths that his arms have reached, is boggling if it's true, what they're saying or whatever. I've been watching this chick, Jaguar, right? She used to be a singer in the group Roots, and she's got a beautiful voice, but she's was affiliated with Beyonce's husband. What's his name? JC. Anyway, she is good friends with Cat Williams, and she said 2024 will be the year of truth, and she's been spewing some truths. Now listen, I think she's a little certifiable crazy. I like crazy myself, but I most definitely think that what she's saying is she's spouting facts. And I told my sister today, I said, it seems like if you were in the industry, musical, acting, you had to pay the price to be able to get a role, even like as far back as Judy Garland. And people have brushed it under the rug and kept it, quiet, and abused so many people all these years. And it's just now like people are standing up and saying, we don't, we're not going to take it anymore. And then you got the likes of Sloppy Molly over there, defending the, supposedly the people that are committing the acts and going against the victims. What a disgrace she is. Yes, absolutely, Crazy Nurse, and I'm here for it. Yep, it will. Well, I love, my mom's friend, and the one I've been discussing, the hairdresser. I love her like a mother. But she, like myself, or I like her, have had to marry a few people to decide what was good and what wasn't throughout my life. So she, and I'm not saying this is why the grandson did. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying everything has a consequence, but she, hard worker her whole life, and she married this man that was very, very well off, and his dad was very well off, and they both were sickly. And so she married the man, and like I said, anyway, he had a daughter and a grandson, that's it, and his dad. And he told her, I'm going to leave everything to you. He didn't even leave. His daughter and him had issues. So anyway, he just asked that his grandson be taken care of and given a certain amount, college paid for, get on his feet, and that was agreed upon. Then he passed away, and then his dad also passed away and she inherited everything he had. So, greed, money changes people for the worse. It's awful. But anyway, she starts, well, this is what she said. Apparently his father, and I'm just ranting, you guys, his dad was a dirty old man. And so she said, I would have to fight every day, taking care of him, fight him off, and every day, she said. So anyway, but she started, living her life, and I don't know, gambling, going to the casinos and stuff. I don't know. Anyway, make a long story short, a couple of years ago, she ended up having to sell her home quickly. This was like so crazy, and she ended up moving into a very small apartment in another town. And the reason for that is the grandson never got his part, his college, nothing. And he started showing up, wondering, he knew what he's. So it's just like broke my heart. I tell my mom I couldn't believe it. She did that, and there were some other issues with medicine, I think, playing in it. But anyway, I told my mother, I said, that was wrong and wrong and wrong. And I said, you don't do stuff like that and come out on the other side smelling like a rose. I'm sorry, you just don't. And I'm not saying that's why this happened with her grandson. But when I was speaking with him yesterday, and she is guilt-ridden, broken-hearted. But she was an enabler to the point of sending them in the mail and, stuff like that. So everything that happens in the dark comes to light eventually. It may not be in the form that you think it's coming, but it's coming. It's not if, it's when, So you may as well buckle up, Buttercup, and get ready for it, because, and why people can't learn from those lessons and not make those same mistakes again, I don't know. I miss living like that, but Oh yeah, my dad used to say, when it gets close, the seasons are going to be like, you can't tell them apart. They're going to go into each other, just roll into each other, and it's so true. Like it's so true. I feel so scared and bad for people that don't have a spiritual guidance of some sort. You know what I mean? That just exists, and it really is sad. I was watching. I love me some Joe Rogan, Kid Rock, and I was watching some clips that they take from the Joe Rogan podcast or whatever when he has guests on, and he was laughing, talking about Kid Rock has a home. His home is just like the White House, except it's like 25,000 square. It's huge, and it's got 2 bedrooms only. And anyway, very, very extravagant, and I'm sure gaudy as all get out. Anyway, he was laughing, telling this other guest about it, and it was really interesting to listen to him, talking about what a great guy he was. So then I was watching Kid Rock on Theo Von. Love that dude too. But anyway, they were talking about, Joe Rogan has said that he's not a believer. He thinks outside the box or whatever. Anyway, but Kid Rock kind of like got on his butt, and I look like a booger, you guys. I apologize. But anyway, he realized, man, I can't believe you don't believe. Of course there's a God, and I was like, wow, that kind of like surprised me. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know, rock and roll guy, country guy. But let's see. Hey Lisa, how are you, love? Driving home from my mom's, gonna surprise my husband. He thinks I'm coming home in the morning. Well, I'm coming home in the morning, all right, baby, but it ain't gonna be 9. He said, I know you. I'll see you tomorrow night. You'll come rolling in tomorrow night. I said, no, I'm gonna come help you. So it's 1. I should be home by 2:15, 2:30. But so he won't know I'm coming home. I'm gonna come home and surprise him. But we got yard work and stuff to do. Lisa, I hope you're doing good. Okay, all right on. Get those numbers straight, girl. I watch, oh girl, me too. Listen, I love watching these reaction channels that react to these songs, and I have stumbled across this. I think his YouTube name is Black Vegas, or it's P-H-E-G. I don't know how he pronounces it, but he's a rapper and a singer also, and I love his reactions to the song. There's another dude that is a bald-headed guy, and he's some kind of therapist, strength therapist, and when he reacts to songs and stuff, he kind of goes at it from a doctor, professional, that view. And whenever they're like, he starts rocking out, and he closes his eyes and shakes it. It's just so funny to me because he's, and I'm not knocking about, I love me a bald-headed man, but he is, just doesn't look like a rocker. You know what I mean? Absolutely doesn't look like a rocker. And I laugh just watching him react to it. But do you guys ever watch that, reactions to songs, and how people, I have been, and I don't know, my husband says, I don't know why you do that to yourself. I've been hung up on this James Blunt, Monsters. My gosh. I encourage you guys, if y'all haven't ever heard it, to go listen. That is probably one of the most well-written songs that I have ever heard. And he is so emotional, and what a singer he is. And, it's all written like based off of a true story. His father had, I think, kidney cancer or liver cancer, some kind of, anyway, he was having to get a donor, and they weren't sure if he was going to make it. So he writes this song for his father and performs it with his father. But his father got well and is doing well at the time that I was. Anywho, it is emotional. Have you guys heard it? I had no idea what I was listening to whenever, by the title Monsters. But boy, what a clicky, everything fit together song that is. I love that, Wiki Whispers. I just love that. I will watch that, and I've never listened to Disturbed, their heavy metal or whatever. I've never listened to them, but their twist on or cover of The Sound of Silence is better than Pentatonics to me, and that is hard. That is just that dude, David Drummond. Oh Lord, have mercy. He is easy on the eyes, but he's got a voice that will. That is if y'all have never heard that version of Sound of Silence by Simon and Garfunkel, listen to Disturbed, Sound of Silence. They performed it on Conan, which is a great performance, but their video to the song is just gives you goosebumps, or it does me. And boy, how true that song, the words of that song. Yes, I do too. Have you heard of Monsters by James Blunt, Wiki Whispers? It is. He's got several songs out. He's from across the pond, but there was an islander, a Tongan or some, I don't know where he was from in the islands, on The Voice a couple years back, and he performed that song. It was very emotional, hard for him to do because he just lost his father, and then throughout the season, the original singer James Blunt showed up at The Voice to perform it with him, and man, the young man I think he won that year. He had a hard time getting through it, but gosh, the video of James Blunt singing it's like, I feel like he did it first take. I mean, his emotions, it was just remarkable, you guys. I'm not kidding. I'm gonna tell you, I'm so crazy about it that I bring it up to a lot of people and ask them, especially if they still have their father or their mother. And I've heard a version somebody did of, because it says, I'm not your son and you're not my father, we're just two grown men, saying goodbye. Someone redid it as far as like a daughter and mother. I saw it on TikTok and listened, and I couldn't finish that because it just like pulled at my heartstrings. It was too close to my heart right now, Crazy Nurse, my mother-in-law is a retired nurse. My sister-in-law is a nurse, but she also is like over the health department for the state of Mississippi, and then her children are nurses. And my mother has home health, hospice coming, the nurse coming out, and I was talking to him the last time I was there, and I said, I bet you go into, I love them. I couldn't be a nurse that I don't think goes in people's homes. I just couldn't do it. I think my heart would I couldn't do it. He says, it's most definitely an adventure. But my mother-in-law said that it just got to be so much for her that she was, the demands and all the paperwork that, they would get through in a day's work, that she was so far behind. And, it's just, really and truthfully, nurses they do a lot of the doctor's work, you know what I mean? A lot that I feel like gets delegated that should not be delegated to nurses, You burn out very quickly, Well, Winky Whispers, please go listen to it. It's magnificent. If you can, can handle that kind of, or in the frame under that. And then another one that I love to watch is Brooks and Dunn's version of Believe. Beautiful. So I didn't watch the season of The Voice because, we have Sling, and anyway, I watch my phone all the time. I don't even really watch TV, but I've been seeing clips, and my nieces were so upset with the guy that won, they wanted somebody else to win, but we were talking about the judges, who they were judges going to be next time, and I'm going to tell you, it's going to be so good. It's going to be Snoop Dogg, got my mind on my money on my mind. Anyway, Snoop Dogg, Michael Bublé, which I thought was kind of just different, and then Reba's going to still be on there, and Gwen is coming back. So that should be a pretty interesting season. Yes, everything. And I mean, I used to, help my mother-in-law with uh, paperwork and stuff that I could do, and the dictation and stuff like that. Because I mean, it was the books and the binders and stuff that she had in the phone never stopped ringing. She was charge nurse or whatever. It never stopped ringing. And then not talking about dealing with the patients and getting, you know what I mean? It takes special people to be a nurse, and I absolutely am not one of them. Don't like blood, can't handle it, but so proud and grateful for the people that do and that can. My whole family's full of nurses. My nieces, my nephews. I mean, we've got lots of nurses in our family. But my mother-in-law was so excited because her granddaughter was a nurse already, and so she starts going to school to be a nurse practitioner. And she went through that. She struggled getting her nursing license at times throughout that. So my mother-in-law was like, couldn't believe how dedicated she was and how on top of the schooling that she was to become a nurse practitioner. And my mother-in-law was just, anyway, she'd become a nurse practitioner so she could do aesthetics, like in a salon. She doesn't even nurse anymore like that. She's all about the Botox. And anyway, my mother-in-law was just, she had no idea. She said, I had no idea that's what she was doing. I cannot believe she's wasted her, she looks at it like, wait, but girl, that girl is banking. They're on vacation, jetting away here and there, and she's got 7 kids, and they take their kids with them a lot. So whatever she's doing, Botox, must be paying pretty darn good, because she's living a high life, that's for sure, and has a lot more time, makes her own hours. You sure as hell can't do that if you're a nurse practitioner. But I'm going to tell you, around here, that's just about all you can see as far as physicians go. Very, very few MDs, very few. I mean, they're out there, but they're usually, just signing off on all the nurse practitioners, being their, whatever you call it, their liaison, whatever. So as far as like going to a doctor and actually seeing one, now my husband and I do, but we've solved that out because, look for it, but you can't. And what's so frustrating, before my mom went on hospice, they couldn't write her anything. I couldn't, not anything that, everything had to be approved. And it's just like, I mean, I worked for a nurse practitioner for 10 years, and her doctor that would sign off on stuff, I mean, we had to keep up with, narcotics, and she would just come once a month, sign off on whatever she had to sign off. And she was there if the nurse practitioner that I worked for had a phone call or whatever. But we hardly ever saw her attending physician. And so the nurse practitioner I worked for wasn't like the candy lady writing prescriptions. But if you come in and needed it, she absolutely didn't bat it. She would give it to you and didn't have to call and get approval or whatever. So they are like, now that they can't write a damn Tylenol 3 without running it by the attendant. I don't know if it's changed, or if, the opiates and stuff have gotten so crazy and out of control that, they're scared. But it ain't just opiates. It's anything that's Schedule 2, anything that's above a Tylenol 3. They would tell my mom, well, we can't write that, we can't write that. And I was like, that's so freaking frustrating, It's almost, to me, and I'm not a pill seeker or anything like that, but if I need something and I go to a doctor and I pay for it, I by George expect that doctor to take care of me. I mean, it's obvious I'm not a seeker. You can look at but it's almost like you're getting ripped off. You know what I mean? You're paying the price for a physician, but their hands are tied as far as what they can do. It's frustrating. Oh, Lord, don't let me get on my soapbox about that. Absolutely, me too. Winky, me too. My nephew has nursed for years and years, and his wife's a nurse also, but he started, he's still a nurse, but he works for this company. They fly helicopters, and I don't know, he's based out of a different state than Mississippi, and they travel. I don't know what they do or whatever. Hadn't really sit down with him, but he loves that. But he said it was he needed a change and a break, from he did ER. Him and his wife both were ER for years and years, and he said, man, I had to have, and he loves what he's doing, but, You absolutely have to change it up. Take a break, mental break, you know. You guys are so sweet. Thanks for coming in and keeping me entertained or company while I make this drive. I wanted to go. There's this Chinese restaurant in one of the big towns that has the best steamed dumplings that I have probably had. And the whatever that soy, ginger, salt, whatever they give you to dip them in. And the best crab rangoons. And I so wanted to get me a couple orders of those, but everything was closed up. Nothing but Burger King, and I got me the original chicken sandwich, and I was disgusted. Wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't Chinese. You know, when you get your mind made up, you want something, and I should have left a little earlier. But it was funny. My mom, Emma, had stayed with me, and we were on the side-by-side of the razor, and we took the windshield off the last time we were here. So it's like, during the day it's wonderful, but at night, you know, it's kind of gets a little chilly with the wind coming. And so I had done Mom's toes. I gave her a pedicure and soaked her feet, and my niece painted them, and you know, did her hair removal and all that stuff, pampered her. And I said, Mom, I said, I got to take Emma Bimma home, and it's just like right up the road. I said, you want to take a midnight stroll with me on the side-by-side? She said, I think I will. So she gets her inhalers and gets her cigarettes, and we load up, and we go riding a little bit before we get, Lord have mercy, that woman is something else. We get going down the road, and I don't know what she can hear and what she, I mean, I assume that when she's shaking her head that she's hearing what I'm saying, you know, and I talk louder in her ear or whatever, but some of the stuff that that she comes out with in response to what I was saying is just like night and day. She's sunny. She just makes stuff up as she goes. But God love her. I told my sister, I said, you know, when I get to be 89, I'm probably going to be worse than that if I even make it. So just remind me. Say, bitch, you remember my mama used to do that? Well, you're doing it too. And I got to show y'all something. My sister planted some squash and some tomatoes and stuff. So last time I was here, her squash were blooming like crazy, and they were beautiful, big old blooms. We were out in the yard. My mom they had planted onions, like chives and stuff. Anyway, we were out in the yard messing around with those, and my sister, I said, gosh, girl, those squash are beautiful. I would love to be able to dry one of those blooms and, you know, incorporate it in some of my resin work, but I think they're just too moist. Anyway, so when I got here, you know, this last time I drove by, and squash plants are getting big, and so I told her later on, I said, gosh, your squash are still looking pretty. And she said, now I get blamed for everything, whether I'm in town or not. She said, yeah, well, bitch, one of my squash come up missing. And I said, really? She said, yeah, somebody took one. And I said, who did that? She said, somebody very close. And so I said, our brother's name, and she said, nope, closer. And I said, who? She said, you bitch. And I started out laughing. I said, bitch, I said, let me just tell you something. You didn't have nothing but blooms on them whenever I was here last time. And if I was going to take one would not have done me any good to make a squash casserole. So tonight I was leaving, you know, late, and I had fixed a bag up with some bowls that had food, leftover food, and put a note and stuff in there. And on the way out, look, these are how big those damn squash. She's worried about somebody taking one. Look at this little baby. But anyway, she only had 3. So she will most definitely know that one is missing now. And bitch, yes, I took your little squash. Oh, you're probably going to be accused of it. By George, I'm going to do it. And when I saw how little it was, I kind of felt bad about pulling it. You know, I thought, well, bless it. But I said, no, I'm going to freaking teacher freaking blame me. Accuse me of taking one. I can't wait for her to notice it. And her window, her bedroom window, is like really close. So I was up here, and when I turned my headlights off, and they have like street lights. I'm not street lights, yard lights. Excuse me. And it lights up the whole backyard. So I turned my headlights off coming down the hill, and when I opened my door, I didn't shut it, and I had a flashlight, and I tiptoed through the yard, and I pulled it. And I was so scared because she smokes, the left-handed cigarettes, and she opens the window for bedroom a lot and stays back there and smokes. And you don't even know she's there until you see smoke coming. So I thought, please don't let her be standing there. She'll scare the bejesus out of me, and my little trick won't work. So anyway, I was scared to death of getting caught. So I jumped back in the car and didn't slam my door until I got on around the house. And I thought, yeah, we'll see. Well, not long ago, my mom and them had bought these little Debbie cakes, and they make them in like birthday cake flavored, lemon, strawberry. They're just like a single like little Debbie cake longs. And so my mom had put one in the freezer and forgot about it. And my sister was going to work the next morning, and she would fix her a big old glass of ice water. And now I was in town, but I had not been down there that day at all yet. And Mom said she fixed her a glass of ice water, and she set it on the picnic table outside and went back in to get something. And when she come out, she looked down at her water, and she said there was something bobbing in it. And that strawberry cake, I guess it like come through the ice maker anyway. It went in, and Mama said as soon as she saw it, she said, "That damn Betty Joe." And Mama said, "No, she ain't been down." I said, "I get blamed for everything, whether I did it or not. I get blamed for it." Out of vanilla Coke for a couple of days. All I had was Coke, so I stopped and got me something. And let me tell you, slap my brain. I love me a vanilla Coke. I hope it's got a good bit of water in it, because there's really all I drink, and I know it's not good for me, but everybody's got to have a vice. Oh, I saw Wog was back. Well, I don't know where he was at. I mean, I have no idea where he's at, but God love him. I hope him and Jeannie, I don't know if they're still together. I watched a few minutes of it. I didn't get to watch all of his live. I think he's funny, especially when he was after Laura, wanting Laura to like come up. I thought that was so dang funny. I mean, I didn't even subscribe to him until like this last thing with, and I would have people saying that, or he was going on panels. Oh, excuse me, guys. But, and then I was so disappointed because Randy come to Gulfport. She was so excited to see a beach, and it's only like 3 hours from me. And I was like, I want to come meet you for lunch or something. But I was, I didn't realize exactly when she was going to be here. So I hope they had a good trip. But I felt so bad when I was talking to her. I kind of like told her, I said, I'd be careful about wow, talking to you guys just makes the time fly. I said, be careful and make sure you look at the warnings or whatever, because they have that skin fleshing, they put things up about out, and if you have an open cut or whatever, do not get in the water. And it's at certain periods of, anyway, it's been quite, I say a lot, I live down on the coast, so, but they warn you and all that stuff, so I guess they didn't have time. But anyway, I felt so, I don't know, so I was telling her, make sure you look, and she was like, what, really? Then I felt bad. I said, oh girl, don't listen to me. I shouldn't even have, I don't know why I told you, watch out for the flesh-eating disease. Good heavens to Betsy. I'm sure they would have told her, or they would. So I hope that wasn't active when she was there. I have to call her, I think she's back. Yeah, she's like, what, flesh? I said, yeah, girl, like a lot of people have lost their lives and lost their limbs, and the jellyfish at certain times of the year are really, really bad. I hate me a jellyfish. And she said, oh, I'm scared of jellyfish. Okay, yay, I'm on my exit. Well, I'm still about 30 miles from home. Sorry. I laid my phone down, but, set my cruise. All right, good night, Lisa V. I guess I'll get off of here and let you guys get back to y'all's morning. I'm almost on the home stretch now. I sure enjoyed chatting with you guys. I hope each and every one of you have just a blessed Memorial Day, and you and yours are well, and it's a pretty weekend wherever you're at. Been a little surprised at all the storms, and hurricane season's coming up, and my husband says that like Katrina and all of the big ones that hit down here are 10 years plus, guaranteed almost you're gonna have one, and we're overdue for one, and I've never went through one, and I was really, really hoping that that season would hold out until we could retire and move. But anyway, that's 5 or 6 years away. So, but I said, what do you do? What do we do? Do we how do we leave our stuff? He said, you just have to go. Oh, he's went through too. Lost everything, had to start over. And he said when Katrina come through, he didn't live in a flood zone, so they didn't even have flood insurance. So, and here you have to have wind insurance unless you own your home, and wind insurance is like double and triple. It's outrageous. So luckily we opt not to have it because we don't have a mortgage on our home. So, but that scares me. If it's because obviously, but he said that whenever Katrina come through, that the insurance companies really the wind, it wasn't the wind that destroyed these people's home. It was the rain or flooding or the surge or whatever. So he said a lot of people were like upset in their policy. So just a damn racket anyway, the whole insurance deal. But anyway, just makes me a little nervous. But it's going to be what it's going to be, So anyhow, you guys have a good evening, good morning, and I will see you in the streets. Bye-bye.